Okay, so here's what's going on. That's my sandpaper to be, but I'm going to show you the issue besides that domino that ended up in the wrong place. You can see the texture along this edge, and this is all end grain, and I don't want to break it up. I don't want to tear up the corners or any of that. And so it's what I would call kind of an exotic solution. It's not inexpensive, but Festool actually makes a product to deal with sanding an edge. You can get a giant platen sander. So there's a like a roller over here and a roller over here, and then there's like this big wall where sandpaper travels along it. And you can take something like this and just go zzz, done. But Festool is about bringing the tool to the work. And so what you do is you take this part, if it still works, I just dropped it on the floor. Nice thing about Festool stuff is it bounces. So that will give you a 90-degree. I'm going to put a square on it and make sure it's right. I'm going to set it down before I drop it again. But I put on this flat surface here, and it will reference that edge, and it will go along with sandpaper and clean up that edge. So like I said, it's not cheap. Sanders and dust collectors and so on. You want their dust collector. There's carbon blended into this hose, which actually takes the static electricity out of the air. Or sorry, off the dust, and so the dust doesn't stay up in the air where you can breathe it. So, I mean, if you want it priced out, feel free to comment. Otherwise, just Google it. And I don't know, dust collectors are $500-600, and then the sander is like, I'll say $250 maybe, and then the adapter is like another $100. But this is basically my living room over here, and so I am going to sand down a tabletop, and then I'm going to sand down another tabletop next to where I'm going to be watching TV with the dog. So if you can do that with your sander, more power to you. But that's why I'm a fan of Festool stuff. And so, anyways, I gotta go get my gotta set this up. I gotta grab my tripod so you can see what it looks like when I run along the edge here. Okay, so here's how it works. Make check, still working. Check for square here, and the way to set it is there's a dial on top here. Smashed into the camera. So loosen up the dial, and then this part flips down. You get it squarish. You tighten up the dial on the handle, and then you lock this little cam item. And then hopefully you still have room for your sandpaper. So I'm going to pop that on. All right, holes look good. Got some clearance there. And so yeah, now I'm ready to sand. I'm just going to dial up the speed. We're ready to go. Okay, so over here, a couple of Festool clamps holding this in position. I'll fire this up and see what happens. You know, I'm going to do one last pass, but honestly, it's pretty much there. You can see the chipping. This is ash. It's kind of brittle. And I used probably not the right blade, but I'll just sand this edge down to break it so it doesn't stay so chippy. So, pull the clamps off it. It's a little weird to clamp because of the the edge. But as you can see, that texture pretty much all but gone. There's a little bit left over here. I'll just hand sand it, but even that is, it's pretty even. All right, Shop Dog says hello. But yeah, you can see all along here, it's nice and smooth now. All right, now I just got to go all the way around and finish it. Okay, so this one I actually hand planed. I didn't hand plane the end grain just because it has a tendency to crack and shred. And I know there's hand plane guys out there that say, hey, why don't you take 3 weeks to sand down the end of a single little table? And that is good advice and a great question. But I need to make stuff. I need to get it done so I can sell it to somebody so I can make the next one. So let's do this edge. That's pretty good. I'm trying to figure out if that piece is going to fall off. There's a little chip over there. So this is smooth. I can feel that. I'm going to do a little bit more on the end. Okay, so that's all done. So just like that, that's all it takes. I know people say Festool is super expensive, but again, you know, if you got super expensive hand plane, low angle, yada yada yada, you can do that end grain, but you know, you got you're not doing it for work. You're not doing it for a business. You're doing it because you have a lot of time on your hands, is my opinion. And that's why I like Festool. Business, 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 production, 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 production. Okay, just like that, this thing's edges are done being sanded. I'm off to the next one in a couple seconds if I can find it and get it onto the table. I might do something a little different with that guy. And then what I might do is change the angle of the sander, run it this way, and have the sander smooth this out. But we'll see. I might just grab the Rotex and run around the edge and call it a day. Okay, and just a quick word about these guys. These are Festool clamps. You pop that button. They have a big angled foot to kind of deal with some irregularities. They have this foot that's not a dovetail, so it won't work with the match fit system. The way it works is it hooks into a hole, and then you run that up, and then it'll clamp onto that by pulling back on the handle, and then you're locked in. So that's what these guys are. They work with this cheapo Wolfcraft folding table. I do have the Festool table, but this one's easier to move around. So maybe Festool should think about a teeny tiny table like this. I think it would be a good idea. So maybe I'll work on a design for them. Who knows? All right, but anyways, those are the clamps. Okay, so this is going to be something kind of wild. There's a chamfer here. So this is flat or planar, so it's even with the top of the table. This is carved back, so it's thinner here than it is here. So I want to sand this and take out some of the saw marks from running this standing up through the table saw. So the blade did this business at an angle, so I've got some stripes here. So this is not 90 degrees now. I adjusted it, and let's see if I'm doing this in the right place. So you can see it. That is what's happening there. You can see it's not square anymore. And so I'm going to be able to use this, although I don't have much room and my vacuum's in the wrong place. I'm going to be able to use this backwards and sand this edge. So it's coming out a little slower. This is actually kind of a lot of material to take off, but I'm going to move my my vacuum so I can get a little bit more hose. But that is how it works. If I took the time, I could flip this. There's a clip that goes in here, and there's a screw that holds it together somewhere. But I could flip it to the other side, so I could do this right-handed instead of left-handed or whatever's happening here. But yeah, I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to go with it, and I'm just going to get some more room on the table so I can get to this edge. Sanding it was fine this way, but then flipping it around is a little awkward, as you can see. But yeah, the point is, it's going to take care of this for me and make it angled and sand across these fibers without ripping them up.